Hi, I'm Paul Seal from coachhead.co.uk. Welcome to the third part of episode 6 in this series where I'll show you how to build a website with Umbraco 13. Again, I know it sounds odd, part 3 of episode 6, but it's just that we group certain content and things to teach within the same session. So yeah, this is part 3 of episode 6. There will be a final part 4 of episode 6 where we'll do all the previews. But for now, we're going to build out the remaining block grid elements. So in the last episode, we did the image links. In this episode, we're going to do the call to action, the icon link, and the image with caption. So let's get started then. So first of all, what we want to do is we want to go into the back office and we want to go to our settings, document types, components, block grid, contact models. And then within there, we want to create a new block grid item called call to action. So we go to contact models, we create a new element type and we call it call to action. And in this one, I'm just going to add a link icon. So we don't need any properties on this one for now. So we just click save. Then another one that I want to create as well is one called icon link. So we'll use this. Let me show you where we'll use this, just so you get an idea for it. So if we go on the home page and we go to here, this is the thing that we're building. This is what I'm calling the call to action. It's going to have title, it's going to have some content, and it's going to have an icon link. So then we've already created a title type. We've already created the rich text type, and we also need to create an icon link. So let's go back into the back office. Let's create a new element type and call it icon link. And then we just need to look for another link one. I'm not sure. I'll just use a paperclip for now. So yeah, icon link, we'll do add tab, content, and then on this we'll just create an icon property. Just remove that space and then just say choose an icon for this icon link item. And then we want to choose the SVG media picker that we already created. We could make it mandatory, but you don't always need to. So I've saved that and then I want to just do a link. So enter a link for this icon link item. Call it URL picker, single URL picker. That's all we need to do is use the single URL picker and then save. So we've got our type created here, and then we've got our call to action, we've got our icon link, and the other one that we're going to create today, we may as well do it now, just whilst we're at it, is the image with caption. So we're going to create a new element type, image with caption. And I'm just going to use that icon and I'm going to make it green. And then in this one, we're going to choose, so it's going to be a content tab again, and it's going to say image. So choose the image for this item. And we'll use the single image media picker that we've created, and we'll make this one mandatory. And then we will add another property called caption. So enter the caption for this item. And then we will just do that as a text string. Submit that, that one's not mandatory. Okay, so we've got our ones that we want to use. So let's go down to the data types, custom, and go to main content, block grid. So what we want to do is we want to add these to this list of available blocks. So we're going to create one for the call to action first of all. Actually, no, we will create the icon link one first of all. So we go to block grid, content models, icon link. So this icon link will only allow in areas, not in the root. So you can't create it in the base of the grid. You have to create it within another area. We won't add any areas or any advanced settings. Later on in the next episode, we will do some previews. But for now, we'll keep it as simple as that. Submit that and save. And once we've done that one, we want to add another one that is for image with caption. We'll do that. So go to block grid, content models, and then image with caption. And now the image with caption, we want to allow in root, but not in areas. It doesn't have any areas itself, and later we'll create a preview. So for now, we'll just submit that and save it. And then finally, let's go to the other content model that we wanted to add. And that one was call to action. And call to action is going to require some configuration on this one. So it's going to be allowed in the root or in the areas. It's going to have some areas defined, and they are going to be full width columns. Full width columns. So this is going to be title, and the create label is going to be add a title. So what I'm doing here is I'm making it so that I can use the same title block that was defined for other areas of the grid. I'm going to use that here. So I'll just say that you can only have one of them. And I'm going to drag that across. Next, I'm going to add one for content. Add a content item, I think it should say. Add some content. How many do we want? Between 0 and many. And then we will just change this to be rich text. 0 to many. Drag that across, make that full width as well. And there is a reason for using this, and we'll have a look at what we're left with in a moment. We'll just put this as link, add a link. So in the link one, we want it to be just only one. And then we want to allow the icon link type up to once. And then we'll submit that. And then we'll drag that across. And then we'll save. The previews will come later on all of these. So we've configured the call to action there. We've added the image with caption. And let's just double check on the image with caption. Is there any other configuration? No. Okay. And we've added the icon link. And we know that the icon link was used in that area. So we've done everything we needed to do in terms of the data itself. So let's just go in and have a look now. So if we were to add something to the home page, maybe add a call to action. So can we add a title in there? Great. So this is the title. I'll leave it as secondary. Some content. So yeah, let's put some lorem ipsum in there with my magic button. Create that and then add a link. So it's quite nice. It's quite specific about the things. So first of all, I'll do video and then the link of where it will go. I'll just make it go to my Twitter, x.com/code share Paul. Open a new window, submit that, create, save and publish. So now we've got some more content then. So before we just had a rich text block, let's just have a look at this. So it's saying it can't find it, so it cannot render it because it doesn't find the view, which is called call to action. So that's okay. So if we go back into here and we have a look in the partial views, we can see that we've got one. We've got about, contact, footer, header, main nav, metadata, modals, portfolio. So let's just see. So after portfolio, so maybe it's the one called about. So it looks like that's the one that we're using for this. And what we want to do is we want to create that one called call to action, because remember the error message was saying that it doesn't have one called call to action. It's trying to render one. So I'm going to copy the name. I'm going to go into here. I'm going to go into views, partials, block grid components. I'm just going to copy the footer content one. I'm going to F2 on that and rename it to call to action. I'm going to go into the back office and do the settings and make sure that models builder has been generated, because we had a load of new document types and data type changes. So that will pick up those changes and create the relevant classes for us. So we're in the call to action. We just need to make sure that the model that it uses here is call to action, and that's happy with that now. And then if you remember, when we defined our areas, we had 3 separate areas. If we go into image links, we can just copy this where it's got title and content. And what we want to do is we want to copy that idea and make one for number 2, which was the link area. There we go. And then we want to go into the about section and just copy this and paste it into here. So for now, if we were to render this out, it will be hard coded as this. So let's try that out. I'm just going to put a word test in here, and I'm going to remove the other one, the about one, from the master page or the main page. So it might be on the home page. So I'm going to remove about and actually remove portfolio, because about and portfolio have now been created in the block grid. Let's see what happens with that. Give it a build and let it load up. So we'll go back to our browser. We can see that it's running. Okay, so nothing fell over. And it's hard coded the about bit because we didn't make any of the HTML dynamic. But that's fine because we didn't expect it to be. So the first thing we want to do is to get the title rendering. So if we go into the call to action, and then if we remember, we've done this on another one before. I think we did it on the image links. So let's just go to this. And we've got the get block grid item area HTML async. What we can do is we can just copy that line. And then where we've got the H2, just paste it underneath. And then there's something else we need to do, and that is put a class on the div around it and just say text white, which is a bootstrap class, bootstrap utility class. So what we're saying is, yeah, let's add this to anything in there will have white text on it. So we've done that. So that was the title in there, but instead of using the title, we're going to just put that we copied from the other one in there. So that's that one done. And then we don't need a divider because that comes with the title one anyway. And then it's a case of we've got this rows now of these rich text areas that we've got in there. Now the way they work is a little bit different, so there's some logic to apply on this. But before we do, what I want to do is just get the link rendering as well. So let's just go down to the link. Actually, let's just see the title in action. So just run this with the hot reload and reload the page. There we go, we've got that coming through. And if we wanted, we could make the text white. There we go. So that's good. And then, like I say, let's do the icon link next. So with the icon link, what we need to do is we need to get the link area. So in a similar way that we would get the other areas on another one, we will do that with this. So let's just go to put in the code block, and we'll say var link area equals model.areas.elementat, and then we'll put link area constant name. And that will basically try and get that. And then in here we can do an if check. If if open brackets link area is not null and link area.any. There might be more efficient if, and please feel free to do that. Put it in the comments as well if you want to as well. But now we're going to loop through these for each var item in link area, which there should only be one. We want to say var, oops, I'm going to get the icon link item.content as icon link. Yep, using those models. So I just did control dot there to get it to tell me how to fix that error, and it did. And then we can say if icon link is not null at this point, then okay, we sort of trust this now. So let's render out that. So I'm going to cut this and then we're going to paste that in there. Okay. So we have an icon link. So in this text here, we'll do at icon link dot text dot link dot name. Oh, it's not text. It's just icon link dot name. There we go. And then what we want to do is we want to update the href to go off to whatever link was added. So we do that by doing at icon link dot URL. We make sure we put a target in there as well of at icon link dot target. Okay. And then here we've got our link, and then inside that at the moment we've got the font awesome class, but we're not referencing the font awesome directly on this, and what we want to do is render our inline SVG. So we're going to just control C that to comment that out, and then in here we'll do span class equals and then we'll call it icon link, and then in that we'll do our SVG. Oh, it doesn't like that. Media item is icon link dot icon, and that's the whole point on that one. And then we've got class equals SVG inline font awesome. Now the reason that I'm doing that is because I've seen it from the output of what it does when you use the font awesome library, but we want to bring it local to us to improve performance and things like that. Instead of using the font awesome library, we just want to use the icon. So there we are. And I think that is enough. So if that will be enough for the icon link, and then we'll come back to this content section here soon. We'll just do another hot reload and we'll have a look to see on here if that's worked. So yeah, we've got the link icon, And what's the icon link text? Oh, we didn't put any text. You can download this here. Submit that. Submit, save and publish. There we go. Let's just double check, is that the same? So this is white text and that one's white text but dark icon. So I'm wondering if I actually, on my demo one, whether I actually had to edit some of the CSS. I may have added a line or two to the bottom of the CSS, and it does look like I have. And that is for the icon link. So we can do that. Let's add a bit of CSS on the bottom of that file. So wroot CSS style. Go to the end. So we just need to add a class here, icon-link. And that was why we added that class to the surrounding div. So we'll just say fill is #FFF, which is the hex code for white. It can also be 6 Fs, so FFF, FFF. A btn hover. So we're just telling it when we hover over a link that is got the class of button. And this one is icon link. So if we hover over this and inside it is an icon link, then we want to fill it with black. And then we want to use the CSS transition to fill at 0.15 seconds, ease in, ease out. And then we'll just F12 that, empty cache and refresh. So is this the right one? No, this is the one I built. So Control F5. Right, there we go. So it is working now. So we've got the icon link working. The other thing to get working on this is the HTML block. So how do we do that? Let's have a look. So if we go back into the call to action, and then we need to go and edit the HTML for this. Okay, so we have this bit of content here. So inside the row is where we want a code block. And in here, we want to say if our content area equals, and then we do model.areas.elementat, and then we use the content area. Like that, mess that up. It didn't need angle brackets, it needed rounded brackets, right. So then what we say is if content area is not null and content area.any, then let's go into here. And again, you might want to do your ifs differently. I think it works for this example for our class to apply. So basically the classes here that we're going to apply is going to work out whether or not this should have a class that makes the margin at the start or the end or auto get added on, basically. So for now, it's just going to be empty. And then we'll do an item count as well, so that as we loop through, we can keep a count. So for now, we set that to be whatever the content area count is. And then we'll do var I equals 0. So now we're going to increment that I, and we're going to loop through the item. So for each var item in model.areas.elementat, content area. So I'm not sure why I'm doing that because I've already got the content area. So I'm not going to do that. That's just silly. I've already done it. So just update that to be content area. Okay. So loop through them. Now, if there's more than one item, and so I'm just going to add some logic here. So if the item count is greater than 1, then I want you to go into another if. And again, these are nested ifs. I'm pretty sure you might be able to find a better way of nesting or not nesting, etc. So if it's greater than 1 and if it's divisible by 2, or if when you divide it by 2 it equals 1, so it's the not even one, then we want to apply a class which is margin at the end auto. So we want to put the class on the right hand side. Else we can do class to apply equals margin start auto. So we're saying actually this is the one on the left, so I'd like you to apply that. And we know that there's more than one item. Then in this else here, we can say, we can put one of the divs, we can make the class be MX auto. So this is a scenario where it's just one. Class to apply equals MX auto. Right, so we've got our classes to apply. Now we need the code. So I'm just going, we don't need both of those blocks. So we need to work out where to put it. So we put it at this level. So it's a col LG and then we'll get the column span. So we'll do at col item.col span, column span, and then we'll tell it what class to apply. So here it's got MS auto, so at the beginning, but we're going to decide when to apply it basically. We've already got some logic above to work out when to apply it. And then the other thing here is that we're actually just going to call it to render the partial for the rich text. So actually we do at await HTML partial async. So we're saying render this partial. So this is block grid and then components rich text. And we're passing it the individual item that we're looping through. So that is this item here from the loop. And then we just need to make sure that we I++ on that. We even, yeah, oh yeah, because we use I to work out whether it's the left or the right one. So that should be enough actually to render the content as well on the rich text block. So give that an update and then run this on the front end. So let's just see, there might be nothing because I can't remember if we added any content in there. I think we just got one of these rich texts. So while we wait for it to load, remember we did it so that we could drag this down to be a 6 or a 12. So we will take advantage of that. But for now, we'll just do the 1 and hopefully it should center align it. It is taking its time. It's always the way when you want it to hurry up, it will take its time. I'm just going to hit the flame for hot reload. It's like, come on, wakey wakey. Yeah, not sure why it's taking so long, but let's not worry about it too much. There we go. So yeah, it's just got one block. And if we have a look at it, oh, don't need to do that. We just need to inspect. It's worked out to use the MX Auto, and it's done col LG8 on that, which I don't remember making it an 8. I thought we made it a 12. Let's just have a look. Col ALG column span. Pretty sure it was a 12, not an 8. Anyway, what we can do is bring it down and we can add, and we can do it from the clipboard and paste it in again, save and publish. And now if we reload, we've got the 2. So that one's a col LG8 MX Auto. That's a col LG6. So what I think we've done is we've left some HTML in that doesn't need to be in there. So let's just have a look to see what we've done wrong. So the first part is right. We've got our text center MT4. We've then got an A with the button XL, button outline light. We've got our href, our target. So far, so good. We've then got a span with a class of icon link. So that's fine on there. Let's go back up to this part here. So we've got our page section, background primary, text white, MB0 with an ID of about. We've got our class, which is container. We've got a div class of text white and then title area. So far so good. Then we've got our class with row. And then let's just scroll down here slightly. Then we say class col LG dash column span, class to apply, partial async. Right, so I'm wondering if the rich text one itself is just hard coded to render LG8, which I don't think it should be. So I feel like that's an error on my part, but for some reason on the version that I've got, it doesn't look broken. So let's just work it out. So what does it render it out with? So that's coming out as col LG6 MS Auto, about section content, col LG6 MS Auto. But on mine, that is odd. Let's just have a look. See, these sorts of things I always like to leave in because it's interesting to work out what's going on. I'm just going to save and publish again. So it's definitely an LG. If we just look at this, it's definitely a 6 and a 6. Yeah, definitely a 6 and a 6. So, oh right, okay. So if I have this open on the other side, what we can see there is we've got the col LG6 and then we've got the container MY5, but then within that we've got this col LG8 MX Auto, and then within that we've got a P. And I'm wondering where I've gone wrong. This is interesting actually. I'm not sure I'm going to get to the bottom of it. It's a container 5. Oh, so this is where we need to know, does it already have a container or not? Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what this is. So there's a a bit of a fix that I put in. So basically with the rich text, we could either have the rich text being rendered on its own, like as a full width rich text, like we did previously. And that one needed to come out with some markup around it, which was the Col LG8 and MX Auto. It looks nice and neat on the page, but this one doesn't necessarily need to. And so what we needed to do was we've got this code that just looks for whether there's a container or not. So let's put this code in here and we'll check to see if it has a container. So var has container, and if it has, well, we'll get it from the view data and we'll pass it in. So view data has container, and then we'll say equals true. So let's look for that. And then if we find that that has been set, so if has container, so if it's got a container, then do this, otherwise then do the other. So the other being this, so we put that in there, and then if it has already got a container, we just paste it in like that. Now, if it's got a container, we just paste it like that. So how do we set that it's got a container? Well, we've got a call to action. So in our call to action, what we ideally need to do is we need to say, yeah, I'm a container. So let's set the view data value of has container to true. And so view data is a way to pass information from one view to another, and you can set it using like a dictionary of keys and with a value. So I'm just putting this into the view data saying has container and equals true. So then when it picks it up on this one, it says, has that been set? And because it has been set, then when this gets rendered, it won't render out the outer part of this anymore. It will just render out the inner part, which means that if you look at the call to action, at this point here, we're looping through and we're wrapping the Col LG6, and then all we want really is the rich text in the middle of it. So let's have a look and see if that works. So hopefully you managed to follow along with that one. It could be confusing, but yeah, that has solved the problem. We can see that that has worked, and that text has come out correctly. So the last part on this one is to do the image with caption. So we already created the document type for image with caption. As you can see, we've got that here. So it's just an image and a caption. So we just need to create the actual view for it as well. So this wasn't part of the original design, but I felt like it should be, like we've got the rich text on its own, I felt like, well, we should be able to have a caption on its own as well. So let's go to the rich text, not the rich text, sorry. Was it the rich text? So we've got our about. Yeah, we'll copy the about for now. Copy this content, and we will create. Is there one that's better? No, I don't think there is. Yeah, we'll just copy one of these. Not that one, that one's a bit complicated. That one. Just control, drag it up to the folder, and that creates a copy. So we're going to call this one. So the one we're working on now is the image with caption. So we need it to be equal to that alias, don't forget. So we put that in here, image with caption. So that when the block grid tries to render the item, it will find it, the view for it. So image with caption, and we're going to start off with this. So we're going to have a section, and actually we'll just do this. We'll say if model question mark dot content question mark dot image is null, then don't bother doing anything, just return. So yeah, if the image is null, let's just leave it. Let's just go home. Anyway, save that. Now what we're saying is, right, if not, let's render out a section. So the class is page section. We want the BG to be white, so the background color to be white. We want the text to be white, and we want margin bottom to be 0. Take off that ID. We'll then have it in a container class, and we will delete most of this because we want to put in a row. Remember, we copied this from the other one. So we've got div class row there, and then we want our div class of col. Let's just break this down a bit. And we can delete the second div and class pair. Right, so on this one, we want to say it's col LG8 MX auto, so left and right margins auto. And then in this, we're going to have a class, a paragraph at the bottom for the caption. And this will be with a class of text dark and text center and FST italic. So that's font styling, that is. And then in there, we want to put the caption. So that will be at model.content.caption. Remember, we changed the model type to be image with caption, so it knows about that property on there. And then here, we just need to create the image. So we'll do image class equals image dash fluid. So that will make it take up the full width of its area. Not lazy load, we'll do that later on. And then we'll just say source equals at model.content.image.url. We can do crops and all sorts later on. And then we'll put the alt text as well. And that will be at model.content, spell it properly, .content.image.getAltText. And then we'll just close that off. So now we've got an image with caption. So we can hot reload that. We can go to the back office. We can make sure that we've got some content for that. So we'll just add an image with caption. We'll choose that image there. Oh no, that one. And then we'll call that Tower Bridge. Create, save and publish, and go to info. And let's see if the Tower Bridge image with caption gets rendered, and it does. Great. So it's coming along. We've added all of those things. Don't forget we added, I think it was on the about page, we had the image links. We can copy that image links from there and we can add that to the main content on the home page. And we'll get it from the clipboard, image links, save and publish, and then just refresh. And there we go, there's the image links as well. So we're building up the page with all these different types of things that we can add onto it. And let's just recap to make sure we've covered everything that we wanted to in this episode. So we'll just bring that back over. So we've done the call to action, we've done the icon link, and we've done the image with caption. Previous episodes we did all the others. So the final part of this episode, for episode 6, part 4 will be next, and that will be where we set up all of the previews for the back office so that what we have isn't just like this. It's actual images and text and things that can look exactly, well, almost exactly like it is on the front end if you want, or you can have more wireframey look where you can see an image and you can see the text. There's different there's different options that we can go with. But for now, that's enough for building up the blocks that we're going to use on the pages. So thanks for watching. If you like the video, please click like, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to go to the guest book, please, and just say hello. Let me know where you're from and how you're getting on with the series, what episode you've got to now. I'll be really interested to see if anyone signs on that and see how many names we can get on there. So to get to that, you go to the GitHub when it's public, Umbraco-13 series there. That's the URL. And then in the issues is the guest book, and just go in and say hello to everybody. If you did want to buy me a coffee, you don't have to, but if you wanted to, you could go to codeshare.co.uk/coffee. And I will see you on part 4 of episode 6. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.